Are you wondering how a leading electric vehicle company integrates sustainability into its core mission and HR practices? Or are you wondering what it takes to foster a culture of innovation, collaboration, and excellence in a fast-paced startup environment? We'll get to these big questions. I'm Kiran Maestri. Welcome to Future of Our People. It's a podcast series dedicated to leaders who are shaping the future of work and future of business. Today, we are exploring the electrifying intersection of human resources and environmental sustainability with a very special guest, Mr. Srinath, who is the Senior Vice President of Human Resources at Simple Energy. With over 2 decades of rich experiences in human resources, strategic leadership, and HR technology, Srinath is at the forefront of shaping Simple Energy's vision of building sustainable and smart mobility solutions. He's a trailblazer who has invented and patented 6 HR tools, revolutionizing decision support, career progression, and retention in organizations. Recognized as a top HR technology mind, a great people manager, and a global thought leader, Srinath's accolades include being named among India's great people managers by Forbes India in 2020 and 2021. So join us as we delve into the world of Simple Energy through the lens of HR excellence and sustainability with Srinath. Mr. Srinath, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Kiran. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to share Simple's vision, sustainability, and the impact to society that we all aim together in terms of creating a better planet, and through one vehicle at a time. And that is the agenda that we have, which is kind of very, very true in terms of creating the engineering excellence through the very strong purpose and vision that we carry as an organization. I think when you talked about purpose, there is nothing more important at this time than keeping the planet safe and green and continue to breathe healthy. I think towards that journey, Simple wants to revolutionize transportation through its research and manufacturing through electric vehicles. If you look at the landscape today, India sells about 34 lakh vehicles a month. I think that's stupendous, right? In that segment, only about 2% of vehicles that are sold are in the electric vehicle segment. So you look at the opportunity size, about 98% of vehicles still to be plowed and converted into electric vehicles. Why electric? Because this is much greener, emits zero carbon emissions, and is better for the planet, health, and the kids who are our future. I think that is the agenda for us in terms of creating a better planet, creating a sustainable society, and advancing green energy as a way forward to be able to live better lives. Well-being has not got highlighted much more forcefully than in the past few years, where it was threatened fundamentally. I think in our way of putting the transportation at the core of a solution towards sustainability, we have brought this to the fore in terms of what we want to do. I think that binds us together as an organization, as individuals, and to be able to create a small bit of positive impact to the society that we are engaged in.
Now, impressive, Srinath. And more often or not, I often start my interview with asking why. And your purpose is very clear. The organization that you're representing, Simple Energy, which I wanted to touch base more upon that sustainability topic and few of the data points that you've shared, clear in terms of how much difference you're making for the planet, right? Simple Energy, is it fair to say it's a Bangalore-based startup firm?
It is a Bangalore-based startup firm started by Suhas Rajkumar, who is a local and an engineering graduate from SSIT Tumkur. And he has championed this entire imagination where organizations should last more than one lifetime in terms of creating a good impact. I think that's a very, very strong foundational thought process to be able to build an institution from. And ably backed by our co-founders, Ankit, who heads the finance, Shrestha, who heads operations, and many other leaders who we have been able to get together towards this wonderful vision. It is not just a product for us, it's not just a vehicle that goes out on the road, but it is transformation of mobility, transformation of the planet's environment in each vehicle that we see. And you would be surprised, my average age of my company is about 28 years. right?
Mm.
And it's a quite young crowd, including the founders. Average age is about 28. So it's kind of balances out in terms of leadership metal and in terms of what we want to do. And we carry great dreams. And we not only carry dreams, we have been able to realize with core engineering work, with research backed by a best in class product. I say best in class because the range that offers, typically what we call in the traditional automobiles, the mileage is about 212 kilometers per charge. No other vehicle in the market commands that, and that is surely possible because of our application of what we have learned and our engineering excellence and the enthusiasm and the vision that we carry. It would not have been possible to do just by applying our knowledge to a product and creating it. This was driven with passion and purpose, and we all knew that there is transformation ahead, and if we can break this barrier, we are a blue water canvas where we could go and create real impact. And that is where this innovation has led us to be able to transform our organization into a world-class organization.
Shell Simple Energy delivers high value, efficient, and premium electric vehicles by leveraging advanced battery technologies and in-house manufacturing capabilities. Right?
Yes, that's true. I think in terms of range and having developed our own powertrain and a motor which is best in class, we were able to crack the 1 Tesla energy on a 4.5 kilowatt motor. I think that was an IP for us, and this was possible. You would be surprised, 30% of the team that developed that motor in-house had interns, right, who had just graduated from college and did not carry any baggage of barriers that they could try on. And hence we were able to accomplish and turn around and build a world-class motor which supports this entire game. And that is where the engineering has leveraged the different parts of the automobile to come together more beautifully, because it is developed in-house and contextualized to each other much more and well knit, so that we can leverage the best-in-class range, best-in-class speed. We are also the fastest vehicle on road in terms of our electric vehicles. If you looked at the traditional pre-simple vehicles, the speed of which was very desirable, that it clocked a little more faster. So but we broke those two typical performance and quality in terms of range and speed. So I think that is where the purpose translated into action, where we had a strong vision driving right from the top in terms of what we wanted to do and how we achieved it through our engineering excellence. As an HR guy, it's difficult sometimes when I have to literally ask people to go home and take some rest. They are so high that they don't want to leave and want to continue and do something more on each of the aspects of vehicle. Somebody wants to build a Iron Man configuration on the headlamp. Somebody wants to put a Batman on the handlebars in terms of the lighting, daylight, daytime running lights, and so on and so forth. It's kind of energy, completely focused, disciplined, and wanting to change and transform each aspect of the vehicle.
I mean, Srinath, as you rightly said, your average tenure age is around 28 years. So you would expect high levels of energy and high levels of innovation and creativity at your workplace. It sounds of it looks like your employees are already far more engaged than you can expect, because they're all have one common shared purpose as well. Let's touch base on the culture of the organization, right, which is the heartbeat of any organization. Could you please share how HR initiatives are aligned to promote sustainability within the organization?
Great question. I think sustainability runs through each of our processes. We are loosely coupled on hierarchy, highly coupled on innovation. When I say that, we give a lot of impetus on collaborative efforts, because ultimately in a world so complex, driven by VUCA, the only thing that is an answer or a solution is your collaboration index as an organization. When you collaborate better, you are able to focus better, create differentiators, and add innovation. So as a culture, we have promoted loosely coupled hierarchies and highly coupled innovation. Our innovation index, measured as part of a result, is through IPs that we file and publish. every year we have been able to double the numbers, right? Last 3 years we have doubled the numbers just because of the sheer effort of having a collaborative approach to work and not be bogged down by the boundaries of hierarchies, boundaries of departments, boundaries of, but this is my process, this is your process. No, as a culture, as an organization, we are very, very fluid, at the same time very strong. Water can bend anywhere and crack through the rocks, but still it is water, unified and flowing together towards a direction. I think nothing better explains simple than an analogy of a flowing river, right? That is how we are coupled. And yes, there are challenges in terms of bringing certain aspects of chaotic environments to order in terms of getting the focus desired at times, but then it is worth the effort. And the numbers in terms of what we want to achieve and how we want to drive those are measured by a stack of technology which gives you the transparency, accountability and measurability to what we want to achieve, right? Everything is planned ahead, everything is coded, everything is defined well, and then there is also flexibility in terms of how we want to change, if at all there is a change that presents, because in current times the business landscape itself has a lot of environmental challenges via policies through for EVs. The landscape that drives these policies undergoing tremendous shifts every now and then, the safety norms getting changed, so we had to redesign our battery management system once over just to accommodate the revised higher safety policies, right? So and we were ahead of the curve again there because we were more prepared and had embarked on putting that design into actual practice so that we are safer. Kiran, I want to also share that since last 3 years, we have not had a single incidence of vehicle safety anywhere so far. That is purely possible because of the passion that my people carry and bring it to their work, and also ensure that safety as a concern, as a vision, not only is sustainable as a business, but also gives an imprint to the customer who consumes that this is where the quality product is. So I think we have laid a lot of emphasis on that, and we continue to do so. I think as a culture, if I have to say, the culture of camaraderie, culture of togetherness, bondedness, and facing the challenge together with a lot of energy has helped us as an organization.
This is pretty impressive. I mean, you talked about the innovation index that you measure in terms of, and I really love the way the point of less on hierarchy, more on innovation. Having that young workforce also helps in terms of, because their expectations are shifting, right? They need a bit more creativity. So touching to that point, what you said, some of the kind of less on hierarchy, more on innovation, are there any specific actions or activities that you do at the workplace that drives these innovations? Because more often not every company wants to drive innovation, but somewhere people have said they don't get opportunity to share their views because there is no innovation at their workplace, right? So I just wanted to see from a systems or practices that really helped you to drive that innovation.
Yeah, I think we have calendarized activities revolving around innovation. One is to create awareness, two is to capitalize on that awareness into action, and action leading to results. Now, right from the day of onboarding to the timeline of a person's career in Simple, we have had innovation awareness campaigns every 15 days once. All the new hires who come on board have an exclusive session of an hour of what is innovation, what have we done in that space so far, and what are the opportunities that lie ahead, and how they could be aligned to that to be able to capitalize and give their careers a compounding effect by innovating and being part of that innovation. Right from how a nut and bolt is configured on the vehicle to the design and the shape and the degrees of angle of a handlebar, to how a seat is configured to be more aligned to a woman's safety. All these are innovation possibilities, right? There is so much one can do just by reconfiguring, redesigning, and creating different shapes out of it, right? In these aspects, I think we bring the life force behind the product to the imagination of a new hire at different points of time during their careers here with us. We run a Thursday innovation train across the company where all the innovators get together and run a train, and then they stick notes on the desk of what innovations they have carried out so far. So this is kind of engaging, fun, and also clearly passing a message to the employee that this is how you could make a difference to the organization. Of course, rewards and benefits is aligned to the innovation as a practice. It is not just simply words of mouth and just energy and fun, but it is also tagged to their benefits and a career trajectory which is much better. So there is an additional weightage that we have embarked upon in our annual appraisals, where innovation is given a higher order of merit in terms of what they could achieve as a the weightage. So therefore, all of this is encapsulated into strategy and actualized on the ground to drive innovation. Of course, there is a certain amount of limitation to what a product can accommodate as innovation, because there are commercial limitations to how much you could do. You could also put a helicopter wing on a scooter through innovation, but it is not commercially viable. So there are certain limitations in terms of guide rails of what could be done, but more or less these are to ensure that we are within the mark and we are giving a product which is world class and highly innovative in its approach.
It's remarkable. It's one of the key takeaways for me was you have a dedicated time calendarizing the event, right? Innovation Day, like what you talked about, the Thursday,
Yes.
because that calendarization kind of brought a discipline, and that also looks for, and I'm sure even the people who are not in the innovative category still can look forward to that day, because there's so much of creativity is happening at the workplace. People can come and share, and that brings that meaningful connections as well at the workplace, right?
Absolutely. Anything that you want to build as a culture, it has to be habituated, right?
Yes.
And habits, the greatest analogy that I could draw from is the Kung Fu Panda, where his father is chopping, the vegetables, and this guy learns from it and then goes and excels in becoming the Kung Fu master. So I think whatever you habituate in terms of creating that wow factor and put your energies and focus to it, you can create a beautiful culture out of it. And only thing is to matter and strategize what is it that you need to do, and that what gives you the direction primarily tagged to your vision, and that's how the threads fall into each segment, and then you actualize it on the ground.
Simple energy success mantra has been less on hierarchy, more on focus on innovation, and you have a clear systems, processes to back up on that. More often or not, many organizations struggles when it comes to lack of accountability, right? Whereby many employees do not know what is their contribution, how is their role contributing to their key results, right? Where lack of accountability means there's no clarity in terms of the key results that they need to deliver. So I just wanted to understand from your standpoint, from how do you strengthen the culture of accountability and ensure that each member feels invested in the collective success?
Very great question, very pertinent across industries and segments. How do you get your vision so that the last person in the organization also feels connected? In a product organization like ours, it's kind of relatively easier than in a services industry. Here we have tangibles in terms of scooters, models, different form factors, our vision and aspiration tagged. So when we drop the annual plan for goal setting exercise, there is a mandate of component of individual, there is a component of department, there is a component of your top-down approach in terms of what is the organization needs. So everything rallies and is a form of the other higher order in terms of how it is factored. So therefore, I know if I hire X number of talent this year, this quarter, this month, this day, they are going to bring me so much in terms of manufactured vehicles, and so much in terms of this class of vehicles, and so much with this order of safety and this order of engineering efficiency. I think all of this is coded. That is where the systems, that is where the platforms of usage of a great performance management tool, or I would call it as performance achievement tool, plays a vital part. If I don't spend my effort of my people in terms of giving them a transparent system to see what is it that they are tagged to. Their work is going to be very, very meaningless and feel very neglected and meaningless in terms of what they have to do. And it becomes a routine. And when it is routine, then you have to engage. And when it is engagement forced by a department, then it becomes, my department versus your department, and all kinds of disparities grow. So therefore, goal setting exercise is very, very important for any organization to be able to put that greatest vision for that year, that tenure, or that duration, to be able to percolate it right to the down right to the bottom of the hierarchy. Right, probably wrong choice of word, because all are equal for us as employees, and everybody's contribution is immense. So therefore, structuring, contextualizing the goals tagged to the vision is very, very important. Here, for us, it is quality, it is engineering excellence, it is number of IPs, number of zero issues that the vehicles clock, and how many scooters are we able to put out in terms of making that change in the society. Right, so it is not just employees, it is not just the investors, it is not just the organization, it is also society, where with every vehicle that we sell and goes to the road, there is an impact that is created in terms of changing the carbon footprint of the planet. Right, so I think all of these are ingrained in the vision, and that is how we are able to manage this better. Of course, there are certain areas, certain aspects which need higher positioning, higher impetus in terms of focus, and aligning it to the larger whole. And from time to time, we drive those exercises via meetings of managers, and percolating the vision, re-envisioning the whole thing, and asking why. The question of feedback is very, very important. So there is a continuous running pulse surveys that the employees take and share feedback of which we gather and then go back with action points time to time, to be able to align the whole system much more vigorously. There is always scope for improvement, and we never shy away from that. There is always something better that can be done with any system and practice that is there. And over a period of time, as the systems and processes gain strength and maturity, they also tend to kind of being mastered on, and then once somebody masters it, there are ways to deviate from that. So therefore, a continuous engagement conversation is very vital, and that is what we have been practicing, and so far so good, but there is so much more to do.
I think, thank you for that, Srinath. Clearly, as a product company, I believe that level of accountability starts with your onboarding, right? Clearly articulating the visions and the key results, and you then go back downwards, right, in terms of connecting their job to the clear key results as well. Coming back to you mentioned about hiring, right? What's your employee value proposition? Because sustainability is very critical for businesses to attract and retain talent. In fact, I was reading one of the LinkedIn workplace index report. Clearly says that 71% of job seekers are looking to work for companies that is focused on environmental friendly initiatives, right? So you are in a great place. Your entire purpose and mission is based on sustainability. So I'm just wondering, what are your practices when it comes to hiring and retaining talent? What is that you look for, and how do you attract the right talent as well?
Yeah, I think the core of employee value proposition and how we hire right talent is to engage them through their attitude and ability to adapt. Because as I said earlier, in a world which is volatile, uncertain, ambiguous and complex, you need people, you need talent that adapts to the whole environment. Right. So, and not only that, when you look for that kind of innovative talent, you should also be able to be flexible with the benefits and the compensation structures that you have. So what we embarked on, Kiran, some time back, is to be able to benchmark with the best in the industry, and also not only from the industry but also outside the industry, to learn what are some of the other things that you could do, and create discretionary value proposition for our employees in terms of keeping the talent attraction, talent engine running smooth and seamless. Because unless you have a great talent on board, it is very difficult to differentiate, no matter how engaged the workforce is, to differentiate and create those knowledge driven, research based product differentiators out in the market, because it is very fast. The competition is very huge in this space, when bringing products outside and assembling it here and selling it, right? So the lifetime from the time of conception to time of consumer you know purchasing the vehicle is very very shortened when the competition landscape is high. However, what we did was we baselined it the best in the industry, and also we created allowances. Like, for example, we have a knowledge allowance where people are allowed, encouraged to learn apart from whatever learnings that we provide internally, to be able to go fetch that learning and make a differentiator for themselves and the organization, and that is factored by the organization. There is also a whole host of allowances, irrespective of the hierarchy within the organization, which are flattened, which are equally applicable or available to the employee. So therefore, I think these are some of the tools of attracting talent. Also, we use science to hire talent. When I say science, we use psychometric tools. We use tools which are technology driven to be able to understand the landscape of talent better and hire from the best. We have used generative AI in terms of understanding what kind of strength profile one talent comes from, and what are the possible differentiators that one could bring to the table in their role that they would play. I think these are some of the success markers. Of course, it needs a lot of refinement as we go by and contextualize to the organization's environment, and also organization maturity curve. As we grow, the challenges also tend to shape up accordingly in terms of size and scale, and the variedness of the whole business itself.
This is marvelous. Great comments there. Thank you, Srinath. And because you have such an amazing 2 decades of experience, right, in a leadership role, and you have groomed many leaders, I'm just wondering, in today's business environment, from a leadership standpoint, what distinguishes a good leader from a great one?
Definitely, I think one of the most important questions at every genre, every segment of industrial growth. I think personally, the good to great journey comes from how learning is part of that leader's journey, right? As you learn more, you are a better leader to be able to go and apply that knowledge in your real world. The day you're drawing from your experiences and learning is shortened, then you are only a good leader because you're only implementing whatever you have learned so far, right? So the balance or the ratio of experience to learning tends to convert into actual realities for a leader, right? And all this is underlined by the set of values that a leader brings in terms of your adaptability, your humility, innovation, your collaboration, your attitude to work, and to be able to pat a back on the shoulder of a fellow journeyman professional who you could influence and say, you know what, let us do it together. I think those are hallmarks of every leader so far. Yeah, there is no set of 101s on leadership, but a great leader always learns and shows the way, right? But also, it is important that when you show the way, when you're influencing, you tend to learn for yourself, and that reverse pressure makes you walk the extra mile than the others. I think that is a classic of any leader who wants to influence and create more leaders. I think as a culture, a learning leader is a great teacher too, right? So when you teach, you learn, and when you learn, you do better. I think that's and that learning is constant, because you have to be ahead of the curve, not because competition is picking on you, but just because you have to have additional sets of tools, resources, and knowledge to be able to do better in your ways of work. I'll give you an example. I was always known for putting myself in difficult situations when it comes to learning something entirely tangential to what I'm actually doing. right? In a few years back, I put myself in a geopolitical strategy course, right? It was a graduation course on geopolitical strategy, and I learned a lot in terms of how countries think on policies, how they craft policies, and how public policies influence and shape the politics of the world, and how I could draw lessons from that and come back. And it was difficult to understand some of the concepts of the theories that are there in geopolitics. But then I was able to come back, a different person in terms of understanding larger whole, and how as an organization our policies could be crafted to be able to influencing the society at large, which is a extended arm of an organization, right? Many organizations form a huge society in themselves. So therefore, to be able to borrow learnings from there, and but my point is, it is important that a leader puts themselves in the path of learning and not shy away from learning. Of course, 2 decades of experience is great experience, but not sufficient experience to do good things, great things sustainably, right? All the time. If you have to sustain the great, then you have to be learning constantly and sustain that learning. If you don't, then you're drawing from your experiences, and experiences like your money in the bank. The more you spend, it kind of becomes routine, right? So it is important that you add more and invest more in your learning, so that you are ahead of the curve, and not just for the fact of being ahead of the curve, but you're able to influence much better, create much better, and share that learning in a much better way.
I think it's amazing. Thank you, by the way, for sharing the tip. Continuous learning and development is critical to survive in today's business environment, right? And I really love the way how you put yourself in a situation by taking up a challenge, getting into geopolitics, which is nothing related to what you do. But the good part is, you took some of the best practices there and put some of those policies to impact the society, just not looking at the organizations, but looking at the society. So it's a classic example of how learning and development can translate for you to think outside the box and create that impact as well. That was a great tip. I also wanted to get another tip in terms of many organizations or many leaders that I often talk to. They have a challenge in keeping a diverse and growing teams engaged as well, right? Because there is often you get this kind of me kind of a mentality. From your experience, could you share any practices? How do you manage a diverse and growing teams to keep them engaged and yet drive that performance that you are expecting of them?
Yeah, I think with a globalized environment, globalized workforce, talent now across the spectrum landscape of the globe, it is very important to bring that together and make them perform and work for a betterment of the organization, of its people, of the society at large. To be able to do that as leaders, it is important for us to conceive projects which are collaborative, which are cross-functional, which are drawing upon diverse backgrounds and experiences of our people. And it is a journey, because at any given point of time, the population that you hold, the talent landscape that you hold, might be as diverse as spread across multiple countries, multiple geographies, multiple timelines. Therefore, to be able to come up with one project, 2 projects, multiple projects, to be able to make meaning to the organization tied to the vision of the organization, and have them deliver is important. The sheer fact of, if you ignore the result part of it, sheer fact of that, bringing them together, doing a task together, performing the project's timelines, boundaries, the project's elements together, is a process which will bind much stronger towards a larger whole. And it is very, very important that as leaders come up with innovative ways of conceiving these projects, cross-functional ones, which add value to the organization continuously. We have been able to successfully do that and be able to draw learnings from one on the other, and to be able to get better results out of it. But it is a very, very arduous task. It is not easy. This is where technology, when things become complex, because your diversity is complex, it is not a simple thing, right? When it is complex, it is technology that one should leverage to be able to assimilate them together, drive the projects, and also create some amount of transparency, fun, and engagement together. If we do not do that, then you have silos in the organization which are highly driven by their own sets of departmental vision and not tied to the organization's vision to a large extent, and then the delinking, de-engagement, disengagement kicks in. I think it is very important, therefore, for organizations to be able to give a lot of impetus towards this aspect of bringing together different workforces and making them a part of a larger, diverse functional projects.
The cross-functional projects is the key to.
That's one way. There are multiple ways. That's one way that I want to lay impetus on, which is probably the most impactful also.
No, I think it makes sense as well, because it gives an opportunity for other employees, just not limiting to their tasks, but also play a role in other areas which they never had an experience. So it's an opportunity for them to learn and also add value. And that's the way you kind of people get engaged. Is employee engagement. I believe the whole definition needs to be changed. More often than not, employee engagement, people think it's a good team building activity. It's having that ping pong table or casual Fridays, good evenings. But that's not what we are talking about. Engagement is where you have a workforce who goes above beyond their normal duties, brings that innovation at the workplace, takes that accountability and drives business results, right? That is what we called about employee engagement.
Absolutely. I think employee engagement, on the surface of it, these icings are good in terms of small little fun activities, but the core of it is where I find meaning in the work that I do, and I'm seeing an impact being created. To do that and get to there, whatever that needs to be done needs to be enabled by the human resources teams, right? And also by leaders. It's very, very important that if somebody doesn't find meaning, no amount of fun activities, no amount of benefits, no amount of compensation will engage that person to deliver and give better, right? If I see that, yes, I lay my hand on this design and I'm creating something new which will beat the market, which will create sustainable practice, which will have a larger than life impact, I think that's a wow, that's engagement. I'm sure not all roles can be tied to such a vision and product all the time, but wherever there is an opportunity, whenever it can be done, it should be done. And two, it is, if there is no opportunity as such, how do you link those roles to the larger vision? And that's the tough job of a leader, to be able to create that vision for themselves. I think that is where the cross-functional aspects come into play, to be able to bridge that gap, right? I think engagement is also more about how do you, because if you look at the larger spectrum, Kiran, the human aspect of it comes to the fore. When I say that out of the 24 hours, right, if you divide it into three segments, the first segment is where you're awake, your eyes are open, and you're working. You're spending that time at work, right, with your colleagues. And the rest, 2 segments of 8 hours each. 8 hours you sleep, and another 8 hours you do, enable yourself with your own time, with family, with friends, with activities of your habits. Therefore, it is very important that 8 hours of professional time that you dedicate yourself each day, you have some meaning to it, and you need to align, not because some department, organization, leader is telling you, but because you really feel that this is exactly what I am doing, this is how I am aligned. And to find that purpose is the true engagement, and towards that is the state of professional nirvana.
Now, thank you for defining what is the true engagement means, finding that meaning into your job, and your example around the cross-functional projects, right, is one of the ways that you could give an opportunity for talent to further grow within the business. That's the way you retain talent as well. Truly engaged workforce not only stays within a company, but they do drive productivity. They do contribute to the business result. How do you balance between your countless demands on your time, on your professional life and your personal life? And are there any best practices that you follow in terms of setting the boundaries to ensure that you're thriving in both the areas?
I have a different view of this, more drawn from the cultural richness of India and Indian culture as ethos. When you start distinguishing between family and profession, that's when the challenges also surface out, and there is imbalance. I find my work is an extension of my family, and it is part of the family in one more than one way, because anything that goes good or bad impacts you and your family directly, right? So there is no boundaries or hard boundaries between a profession and family. For me, they are one, and the imbalance is when I start distinguishing them, right? Therefore, I love both, and I dedicate equal amount of energy, focus, and discipline to be able to work together. And my principle more is about more smiles per hour of life together, right? This is life. Wherever I put my life and bring those smiles, I'm able to do better. Be it profession, be it with family, be it with friends, be it with any activity, right? Therefore, the distinction itself is what creates the imbalance. Is what I believe in. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the philosophy that has helped me enjoy my work, create more smiles, and keep myself going ahead, because this is family for me.
I really love the way you described it. Work as an extension to your family and bring more smiles. Right, the more you smile, and I think you're just live a happy life, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
no, that's pretty amazing. And is there any personal, just adding to that, is there any personal habit or practice that helps you to maintain the way you are?
Yes, definitely. Last decade and a half, I've been practicing on Indian Vedic literature, Vedantas, philosophy, and a lot of mantras. So my morning usually starts with a lot of mantras personally.
Okay.
And my commute time is devoted to them, chantings. And I listen to a lot of classical music. I'm a classical trained veena player. So I love Indian classical, Carnatic classical music. I am a singer of Carnatic classical too. So I devote my evenings to either listening, playing my veena, or just hearing some great renditions of those. And then my bedtime includes definitely at least a half hour of reading anything that I can lay my hands on. I have a rich library thanks to my mentors who said, you know what, if you don't earn, it's fine, but you learn. So last 2.5, 3 decades, I have collected a rich tapestry of books from varied classics to modern novels, and a lot of business literature. Therefore, I lay my hands on my books, and then that's another way of unwinding myself and refreshing my mind. It's very important I declog my mind after a day. Therefore, it is important that these things bring me back my vitality, my energy, and the focus necessary to carry on with the smiles.
Well, it's so enriching to hear that you have such a fine balance. I wish I was disciplined like you. And it's clearly you're a man of many talents. What advice you would give to younger version of yourself if you had to give an advice?
I would say focus more and create more smiles around, because younger days typically for any individual would go in the self-actualization part in terms of creating their goals, aspirations, striving hard. So the time that one devotes to better focus, because distractions are too many, aspirations are too many, you're not anchored on things which are solid, right? I think I would have advised myself to have anchored better and focused better. So I think that's the thing that I would advise anybody starting their careers, and enjoy whilst at it.
Enjoy, and or also keep that smile.
Yeah.
Great. Great. I mean, Srinath, you've shared so many things. We touched based on many topics, from sustainability to being an effective leader, to culture, to an employee engagement, to some of the best practices, right? Finally, looking forward, what are some of the long-term goals and aspirations that you have for yourself? and for the organization?
First, I'll talk about the organization. We want to create an institution which lasts more than our lifetimes. And that's the core agenda of all our leadership team and the founding team, to be able to build an institution, not just one product, two products, or an organization that lasts for a few years and then merges or gets acquired. I think to build that kind of an institution, you bring a lot of purpose and passion to what you do, and to be able to convey that message consistently, collaboratively, and sustainably. I think that's one big agenda that we have, and I'm married to that now. And two is to be able to groom at least X number of leaders every year, positively, to be able to impact and go spread the message and become better leaders. I think that's where my organization time and the time that I devote in terms of sharing my views, my experiences, my journeys, to be able to influence to other leaders would help me even to achieve a fraction of what I said for. It is worth that journey.
Thank you, Srinath. And I think clearly you're remarkable, and your energy is infectious, and your wisdom is very enriching as well. So I've learned a lot in the last 30 to 45 minutes, and I could go on and speak to you for the rest of the day. But I'm very mindful of the time as well. But thank you very much, Srinath, for your sharing your best practices and in insights. And it's a great opportunity for viewers to learn some of the best practices that has worked for Srinath. And clearly, Simple Energy is one of the disruptors in the market, especially in the electric vehicle space. And it doesn't happen, right? It requires a discipline of innovation. It requires a discipline of accountability, having that people engaged workforce, having that clear vision and that communication. So some of the best practices that you followed at your organization is clearly translated into the business results, in terms of how within 2-3 years you've kind of disrupted the market space, and there's a lot of opportunity for you. And I really wish you and your company a tremendous success. Really value your time, really value your insights, and we will stay in touch and keep doing the great job and keep making a difference to the planet.
Thank you so much, Kiran. I love this conversation, being able to share my voice with a larger audience and with you. It was a thoroughly enjoyable experience, and I hope this translates into action somewhere, sometime, for some of them, to be able to go create a better positive for themselves. Thank you so much. Loved doing this, and wish you all the best with your journey too. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinath.